thought I had something ready. I didn't. I thought I had something ready. I didn't even have my mic plugged in. There we go. Is that a little better? Mikey, what's up? So we have a little bit of sanding left to do. Just a smidge. We got the stock to do and the Hyperfire battery cover, and that's just about it. After that, I will be wet sanding off camera, and then I will start the painting process. Hey Phil, what's up? What's going on? What's going on here? Alright, so we got the paint. These are the two gray colors that we are going to be using. These are Montana Gold paints. Unfortunately, they're a little expensive. It's like $10 a can. I have to travel an hour away to get them, but they are pretty much the best, and I like them. So these are the ones that I have chosen to use. I'm not specifically trying to color match absolutely 100% perfect, because what might look good on one thing might not look good on another, and no matter how perfect I get a color match, there's always going to be someone saying, that's not the right color, you missed it by a, you know, blah blah blah, whatever amount, whatever objective amount. I don't really care. You're not going to look at it, and as long as it's close enough where you're not going to look at it and say, is that color off? I feel like that color is off. It should be fine. There's always going to be that person though. Not to mention, with sun damage and everything else on the console, there's, you know, kind of a variance in colors there. One console might be darker than the other, and unless you have an absolutely brand new in-box one, never seen the light of day, you're not going to know what the exact color is. And even if you did, most people wouldn't be familiar with that color because most of them are at least a little bit sun damaged. So you can kind of see how it's kind of objective what the color is. There's never going to be a perfect way for me to replicate the color, so I'm not even going to bother to try. I held these up to pictures. I was like, that looks about good. That looks about good. I think these are actually a little bit darker. But the light gray is so light on the console that I think it actually looks a little bit weird. At least in the picture. I have one in real life, so I think this is a little bit closer to what I wanted. This one's definitely too dark, but it's kind of corresponding to this color. So these are going to be the two that I'm using. A little bit of sanding left, 5 streams later, yeah. That's how it goes. Hey Trico, what's up? The best steering face, hear you. I've never seen anyone angry strife on a Hyperfire. Well, I did one 2 years ago, and that was the first one. I've seen 1 or 2 done besides myself, but it's not a very popular integration. I'm doing good. How about yourself? I'm doing pretty good, Trico. So these are Iron Curtain. I'm pretty sure they changed the name of this one because God only knows how long these were sitting on a shelf. They're still good, but God only knows how long they were sitting on the shelf in Texas Art Supply. But the number is what's important. The names aren't really that important. So if the name doesn't correspond to the number, look at the number, not the name. This one's Iron Curtain, and the number is 7030. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a G in front of there. On most of these, I think there's a G in front of this one too. This one is Stealth That's 70/70. So these are the two colors that I'm going to be using for this build. I don't hand paint at all, so there's that. Hold on one sec. I'm not saying I went a little overboard. You'll never get me to admit that I went a little overboard. But I have a few paints. I have plans for all of these except for one. This one right here, I just got because it was close to the teal color that I like. It's darker than what my friend used for his blaster. He has a loadout video on it. If you search through my videos, Peter, he has his loadout with Honey Badger, and he has a lighter version of this teal. I was going to get that one, and he was actually happened to be looking at it too, and he got it before I did, and I was like, dang it, no, you go ahead and use it. He felt bad. But once he used it, it was kind of lighter than I expected. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't use that one. I'm glad he likes it, but it's not the teal that I wanted. So again, for those of you who are familiar with the stream, know not to take anything you see at face value, because this camera is very bad at color correction. We've been over this several times, but it's pretty bad at color correction, so take it for what it is. But it's a pretty dark teal, so maybe if I put that on a white background, it'll lighten up a little bit. But I can experiment with this and see how that goes. And we have this one, which is a pure cyan, and then white, and then back to our stealth. And these three are going to be the color of Alpha Snooper. I might throw in this one, which is Coke. It's not quite black. It's a very, very dark brown. But I might throw this one in there. I'm not 100% sure yet. But those are going to be the main Your Camera Hates teal. It really does. Any kind of blue shade, really. It's probably because of the background, but who cares? So this definitely, maybe this for Alpha Snooper, and that's going to get a ironic Borderlands cell shading paint job. Borderlands inspired. I've never played the game. I've played like 5 minutes, 10 minutes of Borderlands 2. I tried to get into it. I couldn't. I thought it was boring as hell. Maybe it's because I got into the franchise really, really late. I tried getting the Handsome Jack collection or whatever. Started with Borderlands 2 because I heard that one was the best one and had the best chance of hooking me. I couldn't get past it. I did like the first like segment or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I can't do this. This is terrible. Maybe it just didn't age well, but I just didn't get hooked on it to begin with, so whatever. I'm getting off on a tangent. Coke and this one, which is purple red. Someone asked me on my Instagram almost immediately, wow, what color is this? Usually I will ignore messages if it's so blatantly obvious in the picture that I can't be bothered to tell you. I realize it was a little bit out of focus, but if you look in the picture, you can actually read purple red in the picture. And it was almost immediately that I uploaded this picture, and then immediately someone asked the question, what color is that? So no offense to you guys, but if I answer every single question that I get, which answer is completely obvious, I'm gonna have no time for myself. So I choose on principle to ignore those comments. No offense to anyone, but I have to draw the line somewhere. These, them, I haven't actually compared the Coke. Hopefully will match up somewhat with this. They're not perfect. This one's a little bit too red. It's not quite enough purple. But if you're not holding these right next to each other, I think it should be fine. And with the shape of the blaster being so distinct and everything else, I seriously doubt anybody but a handful of people would be able to pick it up, not comparing it to another crossbow, and say, is this a little bit too red? And even if they do, that's fine. Again, I'm not looking for an exact color match. I'm not going to get one. Mind sharing the number? Oh, yes. The number is, on this one, is 3070. 3070. It looks a little bit weird in the picture, like online, but this is as close as I could get, at least for the ones in store. Maybe there is a better option, but this is the one I'm going to go with. Because this was the best option they had in the store, and I'm not about to order these online. Not again. So, it's not perfect. A little bit too red. This one's actually pretty close. I'm not going to get too perfect on the gray, because it's actually closer to a gunmetal. Almost shiny. And I'm not going to bother. I think I've actually had a paint like that before in the past, but I'm not going to bother. It doesn't matter. So that's good enough for me. You look at that and you say, oh, those are crossbow colors. That's good enough for me, so. Yes, this one is yours, Gavin. Used to be. Hey, Neil, what's up? Gavin, Danny. How's it going, guys? How come you got the color? What's your plan? What are you doing? I have a question. Is the Orange Modworks Alpha Trooper metal trigger worth anything? Probably not. I don't like the way they smell, and that sounds weird, but it's zinc. And if you've ever dealt with zinc, you know it feels weird and it smells weird. That might be a little bit of a weird thing to say, but it's pot metal, basically. I don't like it. It also feels kind of dusty after a while. It's not, but it feels dusty. It's just a property of zinc. That's why zinc is usually nickel-coated. Can you start modding? I can eventually. Usually these things don't have much of a plan. But I just know that some people here wanna keep updated on things, so you're not gonna cut this one up, right? I am eventually. I'm probably gonna use my other one because the other one has some holes in it, and it's not gonna affect what I'm doing anyway. But what I'm gonna be doing with this, this is the first time I'm announcing this. I have a commission. Someone contacted me a couple months ago, probably a month or two ago now, and said, I would like a commission, and you have full reign, full creative reign over it, and I just want to basically get something made by you. And I said, okay, what's your budget? Thinking kind of nothing of it. You throw out a decent number, and I said, okay, what would you like? What is your preference? What is your idea? And he was like, well, I kind of like Oculus Dawn. I was like, that's not out of the question. I was like, do you want one exactly like that? And he was like, well, not really exactly like that. And I said, how about I replicate a regular crossbow with a strife inside of it, like Oculus Dawn? He said, that sounds good to me. So that is going to be my plans for the other one, just because those holes don't affect anything for it, so I'm probably going to chop it up, the other one, and keep this one, because this one's in a little bit better shape. The handle is broken. That's completely normal. I've had a broken handle one before, so I believe this is the fourth one that's gone in and out of my possession. One of them technically wasn't mine, it was Drax. But yeah, so this is the fourth one. These are 3 and 4 that I have gone through my hands. So let's put this up. Yes, a true Kenner strife. So I did good not telling everyone Ben is doing something with a crossbow. Well, yeah. If the answer is no, then it's not Hawkeye. Yeah, that's true. So that's what I'm doing with those. This one is a leftover can because I didn't realize how much is actually in a single can. I got 2 of them for Glass Construct, and it ended up being that I have a complete other can, and so that's what this one is. These 2 are going for Emulation Theory, And then, again, I don't have any plans for this one. And then this is the iron curtain one for this project, which is also going along with the stealth. There should be plenty in the stealth. I now have complete confidence that there's plenty in these cans. So, can it be broken because someone put a chaos spring in it? Cough, cough. Is that what happened? Kind of want to cut up a crossbow. It's pretty fun. When I start the project after End-War, it's my next plan after End-War. When I start that one, I will definitely be filming and live streaming the cutting process on that one. Put these away. So if you guys are curious on that, stick around. Okay, let's get to sanding, shall we? Not sure what your rush is, Mickey, with starting modding, because I mean we're just sanding anyway. If you didn't think that was interesting, you're probably not going to think sanding is any more interesting. Just saying. It's really not. So we have some pretty easy areas to do now. We can cover quite a bit of ground today. Because, you know, this area alone might take several hours, but then this entire backstock probably will take about the same amount. So it's just kind of depending on the detail of the area, not necessarily the square footage. Square inchage? Not really big enough to be square footage. Where do you get Montana paint at? I'm having trouble finding it. You're only going to be able to call local art supply stores and find it, because not everywhere that has it is mentioned online. Texas Art Supply is the only one that I'm aware in my area that stocks it, which means I have to travel downtown an hour away in traffic to get the stuff, which is a pain in the absolute neck. But, you know, it is what it is. If you do get them, my driver just crashed, so give me 1 second to get my screen back up here. Make sure everything is still going okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think we're okay now. If you do get it, make sure that you ask for the caps. They have extra caps on it that have different widths and stuff. The one that comes on the cans absolutely are garbage. You can get them for like 25 to 50 cents. So it really doesn't cost anything. But the one on the thing just barely leaks out stuff, and it takes forever to cover anything. So make sure you get some caps to go along with it. Sandy's hey Peter, what's up? I don't like sand very much. It's coarse, and yeah, I knew that was coming as soon as you said sand. I freaking knew that. False accusations, exactly, Danny. Hold on. You working on anything? Peter has decided that not living on the streets is more important than N-War. Can we get a hashtag boo Peter for not coming to N-War? Hold on 1 sec. Give me 1 second. That's my rifle. Outside of that, negative. Boo Peter. I like how it looks like Boop Eater. Internals, crappy internals for... What did you come up today? Today? coming today? Oh, it came in today. Okay, never mind. I read that wrong. I thought for an event today. I was like, excuse me? It's freaking 5 o'clock. What if it is Boop Eater? BRV, Gavin will cover for me. What's nice about the Hyperfire is there's not a whole lot of texture on the gray part. It's mainly just kind of here and what's on the battery door. And it is a deep texture, which sucks, but there's not a lot of it. Like all under here, they could have made all of these nooks and crannies textured and that would have sucked, but they didn't, so that's good. It's dinner, but I think I'm just gonna skip. Looking good, bud. Thank you. Appreciate that. Still giving me compliments despite me outing you on a live stream. A true friend. Now I have an empty EAT shell integration project. Got a little bit of a deal around the outside of here, but it's not too bad. Any particular reason why you gave Nicarari crystal clear parts? Which blaster? I was following that blaster progress, and he's a very detail-oriented person, and and not like in the fake way, like I need to get this done, like this is seriously gonna bother me and I need to get this done kind of way. And so I appreciated what he was doing, and I liked his blaster, so I offered to sell him the parts. Meh, I'll get you back one day. Now that is a true friend. Mwahaha. It's true. Peter is definitely one to be looking out for on the battlefield. He'll sneak right up on you. He's not afraid to use cheap tactics like flanking you. I'm just kidding. But seriously. Very, very sneaky. Getting these grooves a little bit. And not the dancing kind. Ha ha ha. Dancing, grooves, get in the groove. Ha ha. Kill yourself. He be walking, he be stalking. Hey Quint, what's up? How's it going? We're just doing a little bit of sanding. Getting real close. Getting real close. Now I want to sand. Dang it. Going mobile, BRB. It's nice to have like a it kind of feels like a online mod party kind of. It's motivating. If nothing, it's boring to watch, so it makes you want to do something with your hands. Realistically, I think that's more it. Hey, whatever works, right? I know it keeps me motivated. And there's nothing wrong with that. Will you be doing other console hyperstripes? I know that idea was being thrown around. I have an idea of what I want to do next, but obviously I need to get out the commission first before I consider anything like that. What do you consider Big Zen Z? Rival or something else? Indifferent. I have no opinion. Nothing much, man. Came in to check up on progress because I only hot to 22% battery and I have to finish 70% of my yard. Okay. I'm having trouble Englishing lately. My headache is messing with my ability to English. Been there before. Well, I have been sanding. I have been sand for about 3 hours today. No stops. You've been sand, huh? Source of your yard is 22 display. I have no idea what you're talking about, Trico. Trico, I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm offended. Something, I'm a gentle flower, and I'm offended that you would accuse me of whatever it is you're accusing me of. Serial number I'm trying to get rid of down here. I could just sand over it, but it's not going to get rid of it, so scrape it away. Just takes a second. It's not too deep. Being sand is so nice. And he goes coarse and gets everywhere. Yep. I wasn't going to say it. I like how this community... I like how in this community you sand a single blaster for an excess of 3 hours before a blaster. You sand a single blasted for an excess of 3 hours for... Dude, people, English. Am I misreading that? I like how in this community you sand a single blasted for an excessive amount for an excess of 3 hours for a blast. I'm reading that wrong, right? You guys are gonna kill me. I think I get what you're saying, but I have no idea how many hours I have into this project. Probably cut out 3 or 4 hours of just goofing off, and then add up all the streams together. Because we have been goofing off quite a bit. At least 4 hours of cut out. And Sam Legion will actually shape an epoxy sculpt handle. Shaping the epoxy sculpt handle. Yes, you are, Hawkeye. I English very good. I is offended. Still trying to think of a custom logo, custom patch that we can have for our local Hanu Wars. Trying to think of something, but tis difficult. We actually do have one part that I need to methacrylate on before we finish up here, but I will do that outside. I'll probably get it cut to shape today if I can get the sanding done. But it's just a little piece that needs to go in here to secure some screws. Show you guys how I do that. Hold a contest for a patch design. Meh. I'm kind of a control freak. I don't want to offend anyone. Because, like, if I hold a contest, then I'm kind of obligated, whoever wins, to make it theirs. But if I don't like it personally, or, you know, because we're going to have to live with that for basically forever, right? Until we decide to change it. And, you know, if it's not 100% perfect the way we all want, I kind of don't want to be stuck with it. And I'd feel terrible. Just being honest. Ray holding a strife on fire. I mean, if you guys want to design patches, I just don't want to be committed to using, you know, whoever it is that wins. I'm just being honest with you guys. I don't want to pretend like I would be using it and then make up an excuse later, you know what I mean? You guys are big kids. You don't need to be sweet talked. Oh, you leaving, Quint? See ya. Thanks for stopping by. Is the stream still going? Still good? I'm getting a loading swirly doodad. By the sound of it, you guys think I'm still going. Weavy big boys. Stream's still good. Yeah. Guess it's just on my end. That's fine. Get rid of some of this texture. So, good news. I don't know if I said this last time. I can't remember. I might have. Even if I did, I'm sure not everyone was there. But, good news. I will be paying for, at the very least, paying for End War. This blaster is guaranteed to be sold. Now, how much it's going for is still undecided, but I do have a minimum bid to buy this already, and it is from a trusted individual. So I know for a fact that this one is going to be sold. So that's good. Kind of sucks because a tiny, tiny little part of me was hoping that this one wouldn't be sold. So that I wouldn't have to get rid of it because I love this blaster. But obviously I need to sell it in order to pay some stuff. So it's good that it's selling. Great to hear, yeah. I cannot keep a blaster in stock. Since all the way back to what's it called? Hollow Spectrum, which was the Straven that I made with the clear parts, the very first clear parts ever. Ever since that one, I have not been able to keep a blaster in stock. If I remember correctly, Hollow Spectrum sold in 8 hours. I've had a few commissions in then, which in between there, which obviously those are immediately sold before I start them. Glass Construct sold in 23 hours. Oculus Dawn sold in technically 45 minutes. I got the maximum bid in 45 minutes from a trusted person online. They sell pretty quickly apparently. I haven't even freaking finished this one. I haven't even gotten the paint on this one, and this one's technically already sold. So I feel very fortunate. Do you feel that a tiny part of you, when you sold Oculus Dawn? Do you feel that tiny part of you when you sold Oculus Dawn? What tiny part of me? Reread your sentence, people. You guys are gonna give me an aneurysm. It's just way easier to scrape away some of this texture because it's so deep. At least to get it started. My English is immaculate when autocorrect is working. Autocorrect is usually the thing that screws me up. It always fills in weird places. Did you want to try again on that sentence, or are you just gonna give up? No, I'm just bad typing. Forget it. It's fine. We really need a new piece of sandpaper, but I'm trying to make this last as long as I can because I'm stubborn. Oh, you know what? It's Friday. My the decals are supposed to come in today. It's 5. I wonder if they've come in. If they have come in, then I will go get those and show them to you guys right now. Hopefully they're what I ordered. Let me check my email real quick. Do-do-do. Okay, not showing up on email. I'll just open up Etsy. Give me 1 second, guys. Purchases. Out for delivery. Yep, still out for delivery, believe it or not. Good grief. It's 5:30. What's going on, USPS? No surprise there, am I right? Says it's out for delivery, so I guess that's a thing. Whoa, 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 whoa. My keyboard's somewhere else. Hold on, my screen's freaking out. Okay, that was kind of weird. Everybody still there? Everybody still kicking? Maybe people are just working on their projects. How can I just get a new piece of sandpaper? It's dead. For the love of God, it's dead. Fine, fine. Actually, finally running low on sandpaper. This is like a box of 25. Yeah, box of 25. Finally running low. Everybody still alive? Somebody say something in the chat just to make sure I'm not going crazy here. Am I still seeing things okay on my end? Someone talk to me. Thank you, Phil. You complete me. So you got any plans for that that stuff, Phil? Never did use the flywheels though, so brand new. I'm actually replanning all my Strife builds now. Interesting. How many Strife builds do you have planned? Oh, you know what? You know what we haven't done on this? Spot putty. We have not done spot putty, so we're not nearly as done as I thought we are. That's my bad, which means I'm going to run behind, which means I need to get on this. I think I didn't wait too long. Plan is to start paint on either Sunday or Monday, so we will have to kind of put into double time here if I want to get this out in time now. Dang it. I completely forgot about that. That's totally my fault. Doesn't take too long though. I only had one plan because I got a DRS, but now I have to plan 3. Can never have too many strifes. What does that mean? I called it early? Called it earlier? What do you mean? If you're talking about the spot putty, yeah, I said I needed to do that earlier, but I completely forgot about it between there and now. It's kind of the last detail filler. Guess that time has come where our stream gets quiet. That's okay. Nothing wrong with the stream in the background. Being quiet is what we do best. You know, until we start yelling and screaming. Are there special zombies at N-War? There are. List of N-War rules can be found somewhere on their Facebook page, I'm sure. Some of them were to be announced. For instance, last year there was something called a rabbit. That was frightening. That was scary. Zombona had makeup on that made him look like his jaw was coming off with fangs, like many fangs, and he had rabbit ears, and he had a stuffed rabbit, and if he was completely invincible, which I think was kind of baloney, but he was completely invincible. He was running around with the stuffed animal, and if he threw it and hit you, that didn't stun you, you became a zombie. So that was pretty interesting. Waiting for my Home Depot trip. Have to repaint the living room. Dang. What color are you painting it? Hey Danny, what's up? Oh, baby room. Go slow taco became go a little bit faster. My mom wants it yellow. That's a little bizarre. I absolutely hate yellow. It's a little bit bizarre. Their house, I guess. Whatever floats their boat. To each their own? Question mark? How big is Go Slow Taco exactly? The original group, the people that we consider to be the original group, is not that big. Maybe less than 20 people. But it's kind of grown to a bit of a fandom. There's quite a few people now. I'm lucky to be one of the originals, but there's quite a few people who want to be in Go Slow Taco at the very least. Get rid of some of this texture here. We have honorary members and stuff like that, but nothing terribly official. At this moment, Go Slow Taco knew they needed to go 3 steps faster. What other groups are there? I know Ryan has a group. He has like an official jersey and stuff. He goes pretty hard. There's several groups. Pretty much everyone. There's SENC, obviously, which they go like super try hard mode. You know, they're tryhards for everything. It's kind of stupid in my opinion, but you know, to each their own. If that's what they find fun, who am I? As long as they're not ruining the fun for anyone else, you know, who cares? There's pretty much a group for, you know, every group of people, you know what I mean? Technically Hanu is a group, but we'll probably dissolve into Go Slow Taco if I know anything about ourselves. I know Ryan and Alex from Make Tough Battle are honorary members. They were rolling with us last year. The main problem is before I started going to a mess for the first you have no idea. I think it's well, I mean, if you haven't gone to at least one event, not even N-War, but like if you haven't gone to like one event together, I wouldn't know if I would consider you an actual group of, you know, players. Like you know, you can be a group. There's no problem with that. But like a group of like actual like a team, I'm not sure if that qualifies. I think you have to work together at least once to qualify as a team. Ghost Otaka will soon be the End Wars main feature. Hopefully not. Where's that triangle file? Here it is. Agreed, that was the factor of laziness, and I don't know. Almost got this side done. Still gotta do the other side, but... Oh, and we need to sand these guys right here as well. These are kind of like a soft, not quite rubber, but like a soft plastic. Basically rubber, might as well be rubber. So they're kind of a pain in the ass to paint. Very, very high risk of chipping. But at the very least, it's, you know, a separate entity of itself. So if it does screw up and delaminate, then it's easy to paint, you know, strip this and paint it again. As opposed to something on here, which would kind of suck. So, yeah. It is what it is. How long do DRS cages usually take to arrive? I've had people tell me that it took them a week. I've had people take months. I've never had someone straight up never get their cage, but I have had it take months. Soon Ghost Otaka will have a whole fanfic page. We have a page, but it's private. If anything is going to peel on something like this, see right in here, this would be a really easy spot to miss when you're sanding. But if anything is going to peel and chip, it's going to be inside of there because you didn't sand it properly. So just be careful of little nooks and crannies like this. Make sure you sand everywhere, make sure you get everywhere. Just as well as, you know, the flat spots. So you minimize your risk of chippage. Especially with 2K. 2K shrinks when it cures, and it likes to pull things up. It shrinks and it pulls on everything, so if you don't have a really strong adhesion to everything, then there is a very real possibility of it shrinking, and then it makes like little wrinkles. How do you feel when Drac didn't give you a shout out in the Sanguine build video? I mean, it sucks, but I don't care, and that was like, what, 2 years ago? A year ago? 1 year, one year ago? I think that was 1 year ago. No, that was 2 years ago. That was a while ago now. I really don't care. He did kind of give me a shout out, Trico, but, I sat next to him for 8 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours, 5 hours. That's how much I care. It was at least 5 hours, until 2 o'clock in the morning, showing him exactly how to wire that thing up. And so kind of like oh, my friend Ben helped, kind of doesn't really, I don't even know if he said that. It was pretty controversial at the time, but again, it doesn't really matter. It was such a long time ago, so I really don't care. It's pretty hard for me to hold a grudge. And Drac doesn't give a bunch of credit to anyone, so it's not like he singled me out or something. Maybe if he, like, always gave credit to everyone and then singled me out and didn't give credit to me, I'd feel a little bit worse. But, I mean, he doesn't give credit to anyone, so I don't feel left out. Everyone likes to give Drac crap for something, but I'm not in a position where I'm speaking to, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. I'm not in a position to deal with literally thousands of people every day, so I can't speak for why he does the things that he does, and I'm not about to judge him for it. Because I'm sure if I was in that position, I would do things that not everybody agrees with. And I'm sure that I wouldn't want people to be, you know, judging me too harshly. Okay, back. Just finished dry wet sanding. Maybe drop some primer on it when it's dry. You already ready for paint? Dang. I wish I was ready for paint. I forgot that I have to use spot putty after this, so I'm not quite as done as I want to be. We actually made this pretty clean, though. There aren't too many places I need spot putty. There aren't too many places. There are some, but not too many. It's not nearly as bad as what was on Glass Construct. But then again, Glass Construct was a way more intense build than this, so apples and oranges. I will use the primer to catch all the spots, and then I might miss. Okay. I'll change colors. Rifle build. Is that its official name? Rifle with a Y? Oh, we also have a war coming up tomorrow, so I have all my light bows charged. So I shall see Peter tomorrow. Project Rifle, since it looks all spacey-ish. Sounds good to me. I don't think he usually is a person. And I don't bother with sanding on the inside of here just because that's going to get rubbed off anyway. There's contact points all along it for pushing this in, and it's going to build up enough where I'm going to have to scrape it off anyway. So I don't even bother to keep it. I think in here might actually be easier if I take the shells apart. Usually I just keep the blaster together because it adds a little bit more rigidity, but I think just for inside of here it'll be easier if I just take it apart. Hey RZ, what's up? So now I just have to wait for the epoxy to dry. Because I can tag him. Yeah. I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah, Peter is one of the people that I actually do have to keep an eye on in my peripheral vision at all times. Because if I don't, he will tag me within the first several shots because of his blaster. So usually we try to stay away from each other until one person drops their guard, which is usually me, and then he comes charging in and annihilates me. But he usually runs Honey Badger now. He has a loadout video on that if you look in my video history. Upload history. Sniper game is always on point. Sniper. I prefer designated marksman. Pushes up glasses. Designated marksman. Gotta add that lisp. Alpha Snoopa is super duper. Oh my god. I freaking need a t-shirt. Where's Blades? Alpha Snoopa is super duper. I hate shaping, but the end product makes it so worth it. That's actually the part I enjoy the most. I could skip all this sanding crap. I hate sanding. But the shaping I actually enjoy quite a bit. Like when I pick up a Dremel and actually got to shape all of this stuff, it doesn't last nearly long enough. I love doing it. I've always find it interesting when people always like different parts of the mods. Some people enjoy the painting the most. Some people enjoy the sanding, believe it or not. I enjoy wiring and I enjoy the actual shaping. That's the only reason why I can get those LEDs done in a reasonable amount of time. Oculus Dawn, I think, had the longest LED time. I'll have to go back. Glass Construct is a very strong competitor, but I know for a fact that Oculus Dawn took 27 hours, and I did that in 2 days. How many hours went into Oculus Dawn? I'm not 100% certain on Oculus Dawn. I think that one was close to 90, 100 hours, somewhere around there. It's either like 90 or 120. I can't remember, to be perfectly honest. It's in that general vicinity. My hands shake a little bit too. I don't have the most steady hands, but you have ways around it if you have the right tools. Trico, thanks for the kind words, but Hawkeye stuff is I need to practice wiring. How long will a 9-volt last for LEDs under heavy use? It'll last it'll last enough time where you're not like, oh my god, I have to change the battery again, but it's not going to last you long enough to keep them in there forever. I use 4 AA's. I have to use a... God, I hope I still have... Oh no, I'm not putting LEDs in this one. I was like, I hope I still have it, or have them. But I have a 10-watt resistor in Ethereal Fortress, so it doesn't get hot at all. So you need a huge resistor for like huge batteries, like four double A's. But I've had the LEDs in that blaster. Excuse me, the freaking batteries. I'm so sorry, guys. My headache is killing me. I've had the batteries in that blaster for the LEDs forever. I think I changed them out last year just because they weren't really dull or anything, but I wanted them to be as bright as they could be for display, so I switched out the batteries. But it's still going strong, so. If that's all you have access to, well, space-wise, I wouldn't worry about it. I think a 9-volt would be fine, but if you have more room, I would use a bigger battery. So about 13.5 hours a day of wiring. Yeah, I usually skip breakfast, or excuse me, I always skip breakfast. I usually skip lunch when I'm doing that kind of stuff. I'm skipping dinner right now. Dinner was like 30 minutes ago. BRB, gonna pick up some paints? 3 AAAs are better opinion. Almost anything is better than a 9-volt. If you actually look up the actual life, the amp hours of batteries, they're not that high. I think a AA is like 1100. I think. Don't quote me on that. But everything is, in a certain range, and then you have 9 volts, and it's literally like 450 amp hours or something stupid low like that. Or excuse me, 450 milliamp hours. Like something seriously low. So almost anything is better than a 9-volt. I think the only thing worse than a 9-volt is actual button cell batteries, which I just don't use. There's always a way to fit a bigger battery in there. Always. It's just how much work you're willing to put into it. I managed to fit 3 AAAs in Oculus Dawn, and I did not think that was possible. Granted, you do have to open up the whole blaster to replace them, but you don't use the LEDs often enough to need to do that. Definitely at least get, even on heavy use, I imagine you'd get a full year of use, but I can't imagine anyone using it that much. What about for testing LEDs? I use a button cell for testing LEDs. Look up a 30... I forget it. I can't remember. It starts with a 3. There's 2 of them. It's like 2026 or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But then there's basically the same... It's a 3-volt button cell. But then there is a bigger one, and it starts with a 3 instead of a 2. And I get that one, just so it has a little bit of extra life. And you just touch the contacts. But, it's not like you're powering LEDs for any length of time when you're testing them. You're just trying to see if it's working. If you don't test your LEDs before putting them in, you're just asking for trouble. No matter what kind of LEDs you have. Will you film more gameplay footage on the war tomorrow? I'm gonna try. It's been kind of difficult because I suck at it. But I'm going to try. It also might be a little bit difficult to edit before end war because I'm running out of time on these things. Need another piece. I'm trying to get this thing done in time, and the more I look at it, the more work I have. Yeah, just stick with it. Hopefully these streams will motivate you, RZ. I like the loadout videos. Yeah. I did have Jalen's ready to go, but then he was like, oh wait, I want to change something on it. So, you know, I'm not going to release a video if I don't have someone's permission. So, blame Jalen. Get to work, hippie. I could give Peter the GoPro this time. At least 1 or 2 rounds and see his style of gameplay. I know you guys don't appreciate my style of gameplay. Okay, I need to put them back together. It's driving me nuts. Involves a lot of walking. Anything involves a lot of walking when compared to me. What's your opinion on Maverick Handle? Sucks. No redeeming features, in my opinion. Lies, we love your gameplay. I assure you, you are the liar, sir. People hate my style of gameplay. Hawkeye, walk around a little bit. Shut up, it's a tactic. Bitter truths hurt the worst. In the arms of an angel. For just $19.99 an hour, you too can help these innocent puppies. If you don't do something, you're a terrible person and you're allowing someone to beat them. You are actually, literally, picking up a hammer and beating a puppy to death if you don't give us money. Call now. Insert sad music. Should what we're doing be illegal? Yes, it should be. But puppies. So screw it. Sorry, I guess some would consider that a little heartless. That's every charity advertisement. Fun fact, aside from the United States and New Zealand of all places, everywhere else is illegal to advertise commercials about prescription drugs. Gonna rough off these surfaces because they're big blank slates that could easily peel. Yes, really. Not sure if they ever changed it, but I know like a couple years ago when I found that out, it was true. BRB gonna drop some primer on it? Not a problem. Good luck. Wish I was dropping primer on mine. Well, we didn't think you were going to drop some primer on his. Sanding on the inside of here isn't terribly important because it doesn't matter all that much. I didn't do it on Ethereal Fortress either. But, you know, just kind of tidy up a little bit. Doesn't hurt to just scuff it up real quick. Doesn't need to be perfect. I didn't even do this much on Ethereal Fortress, to be honest. I think that's just about it. Will this have a DRS cage? Yep, it will. It's also going to be the last pair of XP 180s I'm selling. Sup, fuzzy friends? Hey, Pete, what's going on, man? How's your build going? Artemis, right? Is it an Artemis? It was a rival something, right? I always get the names of all of them messed up. The Zeus is like the only one that I know for certain it's a Zeus, and the Nemesis. Yeah, lots of sanding, Artemis. Oh, I know the sanding, man. I know the sanding. I feel you. He better be going to Enwar. Okay, we've still got this and these two, because I forgot about these. I'm forgetting a lot of things, aren't I? Been going for 1 hour 25 minutes. Gonna make it smooth and then Daniel will be a video I need to make soon, but also a surprise. What motors will every other blaster have? Most likely Hellcats. I wish I could keep using XP 180s, but because they're much higher quality, they're going to last a lot longer. But I just can't because they're not sold anymore. So I already committed to XP 180s in this build. So this is going to be what I would consider to be the last time I use the best motors. Are XP 180s the highest amperage or the highest RPM or whatever? No. But they're high enough for nerf needs, and they last the longest because they were designed by people who know how to make things last, and they also have quality parts. So yeah, I definitively have always said that XP180s are the highest quality motors that you can get for brushless or for brushed Nerf, um, which is, you know, I guess, you know, people are allowed to have opinions of their own, but they work for me, and I've never had a pair blow up on me. I've never had a pair be defective on me in any way, shape, or form. So, and that's more than I can say about virtually every other motor. I think I never had a bad Rhino, like the original Rhinos, but the original Rhinos didn't last very long, and I only had a few pair, so like maybe 2. Friend said she would love to paint it for me, and she's an amazing artist, so Mel should be badass. That's pretty cool. Hey Hawkeye, do you need a set of XP180s? I've got one set chilling because I prefer 3S motors and I just use... I would love a set of XP180s. If you want to talk later, we can work out a trade or a monetary value on those. But I am 120% interested in that. If you want to hit me up on Facebook or whatever. Always in the market for XP180s. That's a lot of percent. It is indeed. I love hand files. Hand files are the best. I don't know what I ever did without these. It gets rid of patterns so quickly. Yeah, I can definitely talk some time on Instagram or Facebook. I got the last set I could find new in box on eBay. Dang. What's the most overrated mod in your opinion? And you deleted it. Not sure if there is an overrated mod, quote unquote. I don't like kits in general. But at the same time, I understand why people like kits. I understand why people like Stravens, different things like that. One thing I never liked about the community is, you know, you make a Straven and they're like, oh, another Straven. Yeah, another Straven. It's like, aren't you tired of that? No, because they probably don't have a Straven. Now, if that person had like 20 Stravens in their collection, then yeah, I'd be asking, aren't you tired of Stravens? But just because someone else has one doesn't mean that person has one. And what's wrong with making one for yourself? So it's kind of like that thing. But yeah, exactly what Pete said. The vector is kind of overrated. I'm kind of, but like kits in general. But I understand why people like them. Like the new Swordfish actually does look pretty good with the vector. The only thing I don't like about it is it's kind of ugly without it. So it's basically like you need to buy other components with this or it will look ugly. At least that's how I feel. So I kind of don't want to support that. Oh, computer's freaking out again. Hold on. I wonder why it's doing that. Whatever. Almost done with getting rid of the texture, just a few more places. I think that's pretty much it for the texture, which means we go back to hand sanding. Probably need a new piece of sandpaper soon. Almost done with the handle and it's so comfy. It's good. Comfy handles are good. Frustrating? What's frustrating? Oh, my head. I made a mold for the rev trigger by pushing it into epoxy putty and then the terminals got effed up though, so now I have to use a different rev switch. Probably could have told you that wasn't the best idea. One thing I thought about last week, which again, still don't recommend because it's not going to come out the way you want it to. But one thing I did think about is if you get hot glue, make sure your part can actually withstand the temperatures, and kind of, you know, encase it in hot glue. If you take enough isopropyl alcohol and just kind of like pour it on there, it'll lift off there no problem. You can kind of cut it open or something, and you might be able to use that as kind of like a mold. I imagine there'd be a lot of cleanup on it, and I imagine that mold would not last very long. But it's something, and it's something everyone has around the house. So maybe not the isopropyl alcohol, but just a thought. Still don't recommend, but just a thought. I'm back, and I brought paint with me. Welcome back, Trico. Let's see how small of a piece of sandpaper I can use before I get another piece. I can't wait to see everyone again at NWAR. It really is about the people. Like, don't get me wrong, people are great, like Bobo and you know, all the YouTubers that you see on there. But honestly, the people I'm looking forward to seeing the most are you know, people like Ryan and Nick and stuff like that. It'll be good to see them again. And last year, Nick and I kind of played hard to get with each other because I kept looking at him and I was like, I swear I know him from somewhere. Like, I swear I know him from somewhere, from something. And like, we didn't talk that much. And then like he brought his Prisma, and I recognized him from that. But I was like, I swear I know him more than that. And then, sure enough, I realized his YouTube channel. I was like, that's where I know him from. So we started talking after that, but we didn't talk as much as I would like at NWAR itself. So my package is still out for delivery. That can't be right. I might check the mailbox here in a second. That can't be right. It's either coming today or it's not. It says it's out for delivery, so. Really want to meet Brett. Is Brett going to NWAR? Yeah, Brett's going to NWAR, isn't he? Need him to sign my dart. Did you not get to meet them last year, RZ? Because you didn't go to the con, right? You didn't go to Foam Con. Right, I desperately need another piece. My will has finally broken. Brett is not going. Oh, dang. I thought he was going with the XBZ man or whatever. Sax man. USPS has always been shitty. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Oh, yeah, okay. That's hilarious. Oh, there's some texture on here. Not a problem. We can just scrape that off. I got to meet Alice and you, but not everyone else. Oh, I also met out of darts. That was awesome. Yeah, if you're in here, if you're watching this, and you're going to N War as well, just make sure you tell me who you are when you approach me. Even someone like RZ, I remember RZ, but there are so many people there, and I'm trying to remember so many different things. Oftentimes, I'll only recognize this is actually pretty universal. People will only recognize you by your blaster. Ryan, for instance, is a great example. It's like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? He shows me his blaster. It's like, oh, I know who you are. That happens quite a bit more than you would think because, you know, think about it. You know, no one knows each other's faces on here. Even on Facebook, we don't look at the profile pictures. We look at the work that you do. So don't let that intimidate you. It's not like a, you know, we're judging you by your work kind of thing. It's just kind of we recognize you by your work. Too bad my blaster broke. I did hear that. The one with the big thing on the front. Two big things on the front. I didn't see it, but I heard Quentin Soviet talk about it. They were like, yeah, oh yeah, his blaster just like snapped in half. How did it break, RC? Just like snap under its own weight. This thing is huge. I know Chicken at the last stand, I watched it happen. I know Chicken at the last stand freaking landed on his blaster. He just ditched the whole thing, threw it on the ground, and started running. I think I have that on camera. Not enough security. Too much plastic. Oh, I lived. Can't die if you have fast little legs. Also, when I was turned, I died right next to the guy who made Dragon's Breath on Reddit. I can't remember his name on there, his username. But I died right next to him, so we were kind of sitting on the hill talking. Me, Nick, and that kid. I believe one of his eyes was missing on that. Or maybe it was an eyebrow. Some feature was missing. Nevitz, yeah. Is that how you pronounce that? Nevitz? Is that how you pronounce that? I'm getting tired of this sanding. Now that I know that I have more, the spot putty doesn't really take that long because you know, this is like trying to actually rough up the surfaces is the part that takes so long. So it's not going to take too much longer when I add the thing, spot putty, but still pain in the neck. Still one more step. BRB going to post update pictures. Going lightweight. Chronos, Dorish, Shotgun, Water Chronos. If you can get the hopper big enough. Lightweight lists 3 blasters to use, yeah. I have a dump pouch, carry extra darts, carry my water in there as well. 9 mags and 1 mag in the blaster, so it's 10. And then Ethereal Fortress, and that's pretty much it. That done. Now we just need to do the back plates. I'm dying. It'd be nice to mold these, just because it'd make it so much easier to paint. That's one thing about the jam door. Like, if you ever have to paint this jam door, it sucks so much because it's rubbery. I'm glad I never needed to do that in my mods, because if I ever need to paint them, I just cast it. And even if it's not the casted, if the casted color isn't the one you want, it's so much easier to paint because it's not rubbery. It's like a waxy coating on this. It's like trying to sand an eraser. You're forgetting socks. I usually don't carry socks. There are no special zombies that can be taken out with socks, so my mottos usually don't let them get that close. Well, I don't really have a light loadout or a heavy loadout. That's just kind of my loadout. Either they're completely invincible or normal darts. NVZ had socks and rockets could take out special zombies of certain types, but NVZ or NWAR doesn't really have that. I don't know how I feel about it, but you know, their game. This is the weirdest thing to sand, man. Stuff is such a pain in the ass. I forgot about the connection points right here. I guess those would be light as well. Yeah, they would be. Might not get as far as I wanted to. My headache's starting to get real bad. Need to get this done though. Come on, focus. Stay Stick with it. Think long, you think wrong. Very important with these rubbery bits to get in all the nooks and crannies because it's going to want to delaminate like crazy. Need to buy a new switch, that sucks. Yeah, it does. Well, it's been hurting. It's just starting to get a little overwhelming. It's been hurting for 2 weeks now. Usually I don't get headaches, so it's kind of uncommon for me. Nothing to do but stick through it. Wonder if I can... Just wish I could go to sleep and wake up at this time tomorrow. I'm back. Pictures on Discord now. I'll check those out later. Don't need to tell me twice. Oh shit, almost dropped that. Startled Hawkeye is startled. I actually did drop it that time. Epoxy on terminals is not good, that's for sure. Yeah, hopefully. Need a hyper... I'm assuming that's supposed to be fire now. Why is that? Come on, man, focus. No, they don't ship until the end of the month. The only reason why people are getting them now, and the only reason why they're positive reviews right now and 0 negative reviews. The only thing remotely I've seen negative on it, I didn't watch Bradley's video, but like in his Facebook post, he was like, they're basically this. It's nice to know that they're not basically the same. Like they got a few, like they're lubricated now apparently. Um, he was just basically saying at least they didn't get worse. So like that's the only thing I've even heard near negative comment about it. But the reason is because everyone who has one right now is sponsored by Jet. So take that for what you will. Real easy to get positive reviews when you're giving stuff out for free a month early. And that's not being me being salty, because it would be nice to get things early, but even if I did get them early, I probably wouldn't be sponsored for very long, because I'm not going to hold back my reviews just because I'm getting something for free. Something, gain the world and lose your soul. What's the point of all this if I'm not being honest with myself? Just saying. That's one thing that I appreciate about, at the very least, I appreciate about Foam Blast, is when they were reviewing the Hudson cage, they straight up were like, hey, we paid for this, but they're basically like family, so keep that in mind. Because, you know, like they're gonna do their best to be as unbiased as possible, but at the end of the day, everyone has a bias for or against something. It's kind of in human nature. Really, really hard to avoid. So I do appreciate them saying what they said. That's the real reason why I can't get sponsors, is because no one likes me because I can't play nice. I personally think the reviews are kind of completely 100% useless if you don't have something negative to say. Because if you're watching a review on it, you probably don't need my opinion to say go out and buy it, at least in this hobby. You might need a list of pros and cons because you're unsure, but you're probably not watching the video thinking, I'm not getting this. And if you are, then no amount of me, kissing ass is going to help that. So, I feel like reviews, for at least people with my personality type, are, what am I going to have problems with? Everything is going to have its problems. Everything. No matter what it is, whether it's a computer component, whether it's a phone, whether it's a blaster, it doesn't matter what it is. Everything's going to have its problems. What are those problems? What does it do good? What does it do poorly? If you can't point out both of those things fairly, or at least somewhat evenly, then you can't, or not evenly, but somewhat, with the same consistency, then what's the point of giving a review? You might as well just say, this is awesome, 5 stars, and leave it at that. You didn't need a video review to say that. You know what I mean? I'm kind of being a little bit harsh, but stream time, I get to say my thoughts. If you're watching this either after or maybe even right now, it doesn't matter. But just know that I'm just kind of talking. Most YouTubers try to keep all this stuff most people in general try to keep this stuff kind of like under wraps, I guess you could say, their opinions or whatever, because they don't want to step on anyone's toes. But if you're listening to this and you're misinterpreting it and you're like, oh, he said this about this person, or he said that about that person, I'm really not trying to get under anybody's skin. I just, you know, if you're going to judge me on things I say without any context, or maybe you're just assuming or whatever, then I probably don't need you as a friend anyway. That's a little harsh. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. It comes to a point where you just kind of get tired of being judged by people online, which is why I have so much respect for people like Draken. Oh my god, like PewDiePie. I can't even imagine. You know, like, I don't like what he does either, but like I can't imagine the pressures that guy goes through. You know what I mean? Having literally 50 million people on your back about something, and he gets a lot of support, but you know, for every person that's supporting him, I'm sure there's someone else trying to bring him down, which is, you know, one of the reasons why I could never do this full time. I've kind of given up on it just because I can't do that, man. It's way too much pressure. The only review I didn't really like about Bobo's was the Eclipse cage. I felt like it was kind of, for lack of a better term, kiss-assish. And I apologize because I like Bobo a lot. But I really wish he would have pointed out something negative about it. He didn't have anything negative to say. Everything was flowers and everything was great. This cage beheads 65% of darts, but I promise it's going to be okay because there's a version 2 coming out. Well, you're not reviewing the version 2 now, are you? You're reviewing the version 1. And the version 1 is completely useless and sucks. Is that Phil's fault? Is that OFP's fault? No. That's absolutely not Phil's fault. And he's doing something to correct it, which says more about Phil than anything else, in my opinion. But don't sit there and say that the cage is fine when it's clearly not. And I just didn't really like it because it skated around so many things. But, you know, that's just my opinion. Hold on one sec, that's Heather. Nothing against anyone. That's the wrong side. You guys know I like Bobo. I roomed with him, I better like him. That was an interesting experience. Snores like something like none other. Let me tell you. Great guy. Snores like hell. I think everyone's entitled to their own flaws, though. No one's perfect, you know what I mean? I was gonna say not everyone's perfect, but no, that's not what I meant to say. No one's perfect. Had a room with him for NVZ. Made a vlog about it. Him and J-Nerf. Got this piece left to go. And I really should do that right now, but I think I'm going to stop. I'm hungry. I'm tired. My head is killing me. I could push myself to finish this, but I don't want to burn myself out on this quite yet. I might do another live stream tonight because I really do got to get on top of this. Don't hold your breath on that. But I don't know. I just gotta stop for right now. That's all I know. Let me vacuum some of this up a little bit. Give me 1 sec, guys. Whoops. Makes it a little more tolerable. Now, what would you do if Hasbro completely ripped off Ethereal Fortress and put a Strife Hyperfire on shelves? Just trying to talk. I don't know anymore. Honestly, that'd be pretty freaking epic. Because if it was obvious enough, it'd be pretty hard to say that you got that from anywhere else besides me. Because I was the first. Like, my fear was... Ooh, don't forget the sand right there. Missed a spot. You see that shiny? Because it would be hard to justify me being the first, quote unquote, if it was a super popular mod. But it's kind of a blessing and a curse that it didn't get popular. It's a curse because it kind of sucks that it didn't get popular, but it's kind of a blessing because there's no denying that I did this modification first. And, you know, people are like, there's no original idea. There was no talk about this whatsoever in the community. People are talking about integrating the backs of these with, like, rapid strikes and stuff, which I think Phoenix was actually the original concept of that. Which he did make one. But as for a Strife, no one thought about that yet. At least integrating it like this. And so, that's the first thing I did when images were leaked, was Photoshop something together. Which I still have that image, which is pretty cool. So it would kind of be hard if they were everywhere, but I was the only one that did it for quite a while. It was kind of funny. When I finished my blaster, someone commented on Reddit. They were like, I did this mod already. I did it first. And I was like, do you have any pictures? It might have been on YouTube. And he was like, no, but I already did this. And I was like, that's funny because I cut mine in half 3 days after it came out on an early leak release. It was available on walmart.com for like an hour. And he was like, well, my dad works for Hasbro. I was like, okay. Nothing came of that. Obviously, it was just a troll, but I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, honestly, that'd be pretty sick. Because, like, it would be like, hey, Hasbro thought it was cool enough to put on shelves. Because it's one thing to say it looks cool, but then to actually work in a public setting, it's a completely different thing. Which is why, you know, why don't they make this? Why don't they make that? It would make so much more sense. It doesn't always make sense for marketing reasons. But, that'd be kind of cool. As long as you actually recognize your flaws, that's the most important thing. Yeah, and that's a lot easier said than done, obviously, because, you know, you don't want to see yourself as having flaws. But it makes things a lot easier when, you know, you're aware. And maybe you might not be able to do something while it's happening, because that's why you have the flaw. Or that's why it's your flaw, because, you know, you're doing that in the moment. You don't always... Even if you do recognize that you're doing it, might be hard for you to do something about it. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's the ability to come back later and say, hey, you know what? I can see now that I was wrong about that, or maybe I wasn't completely right in that, or, you know, something to try to put it out there. You know what I mean? Makes it a lot better. Lost contact with Jace 3D. That's not good. Oh, did my program freeze? Testing? Oh, the volume on my mic froze for a second. That was weird. Sleep. Oh. I don't know. Someone on Fuzzy Walrus Industries saw Ethereal Fortress and said, oh cool, a new Strife mod. Are you serious? I mean, I guess that's kind of vain of myself to say, how have you not heard of my modification? But, I mean, you know, might be new to the community. That's fine. Not everyone has to know me. It's just weird coming from a community that I've been in for so long. Not the Nerf community, like Fuzzy Walrus Industries in particular. Usually the people that interact there know who I am. I meant it more in that context. It's kind of weird for somebody speaking there that is like, who's Hawkeye? Heyo, hey Danny, what's up? We're about wrapping up here. It's been 2 hours, 18 minutes, a little over that. But we're starting to wrap up. I still need to do. I did one side of this, as you can see, but I still need to do this side, and that's the only piece I have left sanding before the spot putty. But my head's starting to kill me too much, and I need to get something to eat. I might do a stream later on tonight, but don't hold me to that. I really need to get this crunch time on this, but we shall see. Ben, do you have a Hyperfire stock you're going to integrate with a Rapid Strike? Do you have the Hyperfire stock you were going to integrate with the Rapid Strike? I do. I had to steal the battery cover off of it because I can't remember where I put this one. I'm sure it's somewhere super obvious. It is right here. Safe. I knew I always put stuff in a safe location so I don't lose it. Hold on. Oh yeah, that's deep in the bowels of my thing there, but yeah, I know where that is. So yes, I do. Sanding rubber? Ugh. Yeah, it's not fun. This one was not fun. I completely forgot that I needed to sand them. And if you don't sand them, it's so... even if you do, it's so easy to get delaminating paint on here. But like I was saying earlier, at least it's like separate parts, so if it does delaminate, it's a lot easier to, fix on by itself, rather than, being attached to a blaster. That would suck, so... but definitely not fun. Can I buy it off of you? We can talk about it. It's not off the table. Then wiring. Yes. Paint and then wire. So if you guys have any last questions or comments, go ahead and start leaving those, and I will see if I can get to those. Pink and black hammer shot. Name ideas. Brain matter. It's terrible. Terrible. It's awful. Don't use that. I have a list of names, but usually I write them down because I don't want to forget them, and I like them, and I don't want anybody else stealing them. Please don't use that, though. That's an awful name. I implore you, good sir. Such a familiar feeling blaster. I love it. So easy to fall in love with the style of blaster. It has everything. It has a cheek rest. It has a large battery compartment. It's in the back, so it's perfectly weighted with the heavy DRS cage in the front. It's got the voltmeter in the perfect location. It's got everything. I mean, it's the voltmeter button, which I still need to grind down and drill a hole for that. The voltmeter placement is button is perfect. It's got room for plenty of batteries for LEDs. Flared magazine well. Tons of kits and stuff that you can order stuff if you want to customize it further. It's such a good design of a blaster. I absolutely freaking... there's almost nothing I don't like about this blaster. Love it. Yeah, he was like, pink and black hammer shot, name ideas. Right off the top of my head, I was like, brain matter. I was like, don't use that. I wonder what I can do with hundreds of motor cages, or what seems like hundreds of motor cages. I have these things coming out of my ass. I don't remember the last time I did anything with a motor cage beyond this. I could probably take these apart and get tons of flywheels out of these things. It'd be be a viable source for flywheels if I was to make like a railgun or something. Maybe I could just make a bunch of cages in a circle like this and make like a Gatling gun. I don't know how the hell you would feed that, because it can't just be a ton of magazines butterflying like that. That'd be kind of dumb. You'd need a new feeding mechanism, that's for sure. It'd be interesting. Only thing I could think of would be rival rounds, and then just, you know, make a custom cage for it, spacing appropriately. God only knows how they would work with stock flywheels, though. Afterburn, jolt, get out of here. Okay. I think that's going to just about do it. My keyboard is still next to my bed and I don't feel like getting it, so I'm going to skedaddle over there to my desk and shut it off when the time comes. But thank you guys very much for watching this stream. This is number 11. Hopefully we don't go into the 20s. Shouldn't be too much longer now, because once I sand this, once we get the spot putty on, sand that, I will wet sand, and the next time you guys will see this will be with all of the paint on, hopefully. So it might be a while. Probably one more stream, maybe two more, maybe. And then it will be a while before you see it again, because I need to wait 2 days in between each coat of paint. So that's probably going to take a week. And then we'll come back and do the wiring, and then it'll be finished up. So, Fatty, you just got here at the last minute. Literally the last minute of the stream. We're at 2 hours and 20... Wait, 5 seconds. 2 hours and 25 minutes. Bye, Hawkeye. Thank you for an amazing trade. Had a blast as always. Hope you feel better. Hope you have an amazing swell night. Have a swell evening, everybody. Good night, Trico. Always a pleasure to have you in the stream. Always love reading your comments and stuff you have to say. A bit 4 out of 5. Also order revocation okay, soon. Looks amazing. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We just got this one little bit to do, and then we're on to the spot putty. No one told me it was happening. The only way, for those of you who are new to the stream, or maybe you're not getting notifications on it, the only real way to be notified when I'm streaming, because I do it randomly, I don't have a schedule, I don't announce it anywhere. I probably should, but I don't, just because I'm too chaotic. The only real way, unfortunately, is to hit the notification button and set to have that notify you. Make sure it's actually setting to notify you, because YouTube has been doing weird things. I hate saying that, because it's like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, share me on Facebook, and like all this other crap. And I really hate doing that. But if you like the streams, it seems to be the majority of the content I'm doing for the past several months. So if you do feel like getting notified about these streams, that's probably going to be the best way. Done and done. Thank you. I appreciate that. TTYL Hawkeye, make sure you show when the bodywork's finished for... I'll make sure I'll show you when mouse is finished. Yes. Makes me feel good and all warm and fuzzy inside. Fuzzy Walrus Industries. Link in the description if you want to talk to me on Discord. Anywho, as I was saying 3 minutes ago, as Fatty so rudely interrupted. You know, I'm kidding. Thank you guys very much for watching. Always appreciate having you guys around and keeping me motivated on working on stuff. And I'm happy to keep you guys motivated on sanding your blasters and doing things that you don't want to do either. Sawi. Thank you guys very much for watching. And end stream.